Well, there wasn't any bargain wood over at the bin over at Home Depot today, so I've been buying a couple of 2x4s a week at $2.50 a piece for Douglas fir, 8-footers. So we needed full lengths for this over here. For this continuous run from here to here and the same way with the both sides, we got to come up another 20 inches to get our 6 foot. Actually 18 inches, but for the verticals, but we're going to probably go maybe 20, so that'll give me a little over 6 foot. And then when I put the rafters in, they'll clear and I won't bang my head. Alright, as you can see, I've marked out where my 2x4s are going, the verticals, which as I said are going to be probably about 18 to 20 inches, because the top plate and the bottom plate, that's 3 inches. The rail over here is 51 inches. It's 48 here with 51, so we come up 6 foot. Make sure we get it up high enough. We're using 2x4s on the bottom and the top. That unfortunately brings this to a total thickness of 4.5 inches. Probably overkill, but we were piecing here, so we had to do it this way. So when we get this side made, we're going to have to cut in here. The biggest issue is going to be, this is all rotted OSB, is I'm going to get leaks in the building. It's a nice warm day and this is soft. Look at it, my fingers are wet just by pushing way up into here. So this OSB crap, don't ever use it unless you're keeping it inside. If it's dry and inside, it's fine. Don't ever use it on roofing. I made that mistake when I put this roof on, but that was many years ago. So I'm going to get to work right now and build this. I'm going to do this end first here, and then I'm going to make the two sides, and then before I make these sides I got to cut out in here. I'm only cutting out these ends. I'm not cutting this off this year because I need something here for an overhang, and I'll have to seal this somehow so I don't get no water inside. Here is one of the 51-cent pieces of wood, and these are going to be cut off at about 18 to 20 inches and used for the verticals, and they have to line up with these 2x4s over here. 24-inch on centers, which has already been marked out on that other piece I just showed you, and this last one, of course, the plywood will have to be cut down to fit in here, because the plywood is 4 feet by 2 feet, or 24 inches. So that's why I put these 2x4s at 24-inch centers. It doesn't have to be 16-inch on centers. This is only a shed and storage, and it's not a house to live in. Okay, this is the lower plate. Alright, this is the lower plate. Now we're going to take first things we're going to do. These are all cut at 20 inches, so we got a little over 6 foot on this. Now we're not using a palm nailer on this, because if we drilled, we don't really need the palm nailer today, because we don't have that much daylight. We're starting at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now. Days are getting longer, but still got a ways to go. This is the top. Using 10s. We use galvanized in all our projects, outside projects. We'll put one here first, so we're all measured out. Missed the damn nail more times than I hit it. Damn. That's one of the reasons why I bought the palm nail. And I'll get my big ass 8-inch clamp out here. We're ready to put this up. Yeah. I already got the nails pre-drilled. And clamp it down, nail it in. It's over 6 foot, but that's okay. Now, out here. This will be more rigid once I get the roof on and everything. Now what we're going to do here, nail this in. You see we got a 4.5 inch, well, not really a header, but you know, seems to be wasteful. Well, that's what happens when you're using bargain wood. You have to use short pieces. Now, if we had like if we only brought up this much, you wouldn't get the swing in there, then I'd have to use the palm nailer. This is why you don't use OSB board outside. Look at this crap. Look at it. Look at it. Damn crap. You ever have a house built and they start using OSB board, don't buy the house. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's the worst crap they've ever made. Use plywood. Well, as you can see, we got the first part up. All you do is make the second part here. Come up with a 2x4. Well, actually another piece made like this one. And this part will be, you know, fastened here. We got to cut out this. I got to somehow keep water out, but I'll tell you what, this overhang isn't doing very much anyways, because it's working its way up underneath. Lousy OSB, I hate it, I'll tell you. To work like this. This is what you call half-ass working. Half-ass. Take this end out, I guess. Put the weight on this. Mickey Mouse way to work. In here. Alright, now we gotta put the top on. Do that up on the platform here. Right, this end is towards the shed, and this end is towards the shed. Okay, so we're correct. Over the middle first. Well, not really the middle, but bouncing around otherwise. Before we put the other nail in. Down here. gonna nail this down like we did the other side. We had to cut back on the roof over here, so we may have a problem with water, I don't know, but obviously the OSB is wet, so water's been getting in anyways. So I gotta pre-drill this and nail this, and nail the corner there. We'll do that off camera. Well, I cut up this and try not to take this off, so this will be up against the wood a little bit. And it's all crappy in here, and I cut this back so I can have my 2x4 going like this also on the side of the piece that goes this way, so that I'll have room and a nailer for the piece that goes across the top. And then there'll be supports in the middle, so I'll have to cut back some of this too. Alright, well, I'm cutting up the verticals that are going to be used. Now this piece here is pressure treated. Now I'm putting that up at the shed end, because that area is going to be wet with water all the time coming off the roof until I get the building done. So we're using, that happens to be a pressure treated, the rest of them are just Douglas fir. We're about ready to cut them up here, and they're going to be the verticals 20 inches long. These are all pre-drilled, ready to nail together as soon as I get these things cut up here. Alright, it's pressure treated. This is pressure treated. Fits right in here. This will be for the piece that's going to go across. And over here, I got to do the same, only this is already secured in place, so I'm going to have to cut 1.5 inches back on this so I can put another 2x4 here to support the horizontal piece that's going to go across. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to nail this off camera, of course, and then we'll continue on from there. Well, let's take a walk around here and show you what I did here. I had to notch out this area here, which I really didn't like to do, but the whole OSB overhang on that old shed is rotted, as I showed you. Now, by the way, the camera that I'm using for this particular video for today is the Samsung SL600. Now, what I did here is the same thing. Temporarily pushed the flashing up there. This whole thing is all soggy. You know, got moss growing on it and everything. So I use pressure treated in these corners here, but when I do the roof, of course, naturally we're going to get rid of that overhang before then. We have to put a support in the middle, at least in the middle. The span is actually, the inside of these two posts is 6'4". So we're going to have to put at least one in the middle, because when it comes to the trusses, I'm hoping I can get some 51-cent 2x4s to do those. As you're looking at the front, the roof is going to come up like this. This is 6 foot from here over to here. I won't be doing much today because I've only got one 8-foot 2x4 left, but I did want to get this accomplished. Maybe I'll take some roofing cement and stick it in the corners over there where I put it, especially in that corner on the far end, because I'll show you what I'm going to come up against if I don't. Alright, you see right here, that's down the bare wood, and that's the new shed extension here, so I'm going to have to put something in there to keep the water from getting inside. This whole thing, this is ridiculous. This whole thing, well, I'm going to leave it in place now because it'll give me some place for the water to come down. And so I don't want the water, this is a metal shed, and this particular part of the shed is metal. So I don't want water getting behind this plywood. This is 3/4 inch plywood. This happens to be, I picked that up a few years ago when I did this at Home Depot too. So I don't want any water getting behind this. And there's a metal roof under here. This part is wood. And as I said, I'm going to be building this up evenly. Anyway, so when I rip this out, I'm going to be putting more wood up in here. The peak is going to go up like this and down. It's not going to be a steep peak at all. I don't know what angle yet, but it's not going to be very steep. And I might extend it in halfway into this roof over here, rather than to just end it here. I might go further up here. Looks like I might have to re-roof this damn thing, and that's going to be more money. I hate roofing. I really hate roofing. I don't mind woodworking on the roof. I don't like roofing. Okay, I did this off camera, but this is what I did. I got two 2x6s here underneath here, and this is a temporary block just to keep it. It was pretty solid, and it wasn't sagging or anything, but as you can see, that's how we've got it. And the next thing I'm going to do is, I got the centers marked here. We're going to make up the trusses when we get the wood. There's going to be a permanent block in here, and this has got to be cut back, but this is temporary right now, just to keep everything even in case it does sag. But when I get to do that, I'll cut this out, and I'll have a support down here for vertical motion. And you really only need one in the middle because I'm using 2x6s here to stiffen it up. I pre-made this and then put the whole thing up there. So I'll come back on this video when I am getting ready to make up the trusses. I didn't want to go out and buy a 2x4 or a long 8-foot piece of wood, but I put this in as a stiffener. And now that the thing is pretty solid, once the siding is on, it's going to be very, very strong. So this temporary brace will just keep things from doing that business there, because I'm going to be working up on the top there, so I want it good and solid. We'll come back on this video when I'm ready to do the trusses.